the seven seas. Are we recording the podcast?
We are recording a podcast.
Now we're gonna record the podcast. Hi, ladies and gentlemen.
Hello, everyone. We are back for another week in a row. This is 3 times we've done a podcast in a row.
This is like 8 months worth of content right now.
Yeah, we probably sound a little sexier today because we are not going through our restream program.
Yeah,
because we're sitting in the same room.
it's true. Also, I have a little bit of a sore throat.
Yeah,
which always makes me sound a little bit sexier.
Yeah, you're like that episode of Friends when Phoebe gets sick.
I was literally about to make the same joke, so that's good. I'm glad we're on the same page.
Right. I think I watched that like 2 nights ago. And
I wouldn't be surprised at all.
Yeah, I'm not wearing Friends socks today, but
that's disappointing.
I usually am. Big Friends fan over here.
I'll be there always.
Yep. You know those memes that were going around that was like, I'm going to tell my kids these were blank, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I had a meme that was like all the cast of Friends, and it's like, one day I'm going to tell my kids that these were the Power Rangers. So it was like 2 worlds collide right there. So, how you been doing?
I'm okay.
Yeah.
So my wife texted me about our son in jiu-jitsu class and everything.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to go because he wants to spend time with her. He's missed her, so.
Oh, he's not going today?
No, I don't think so. Yeah, he wants to spend time with her, which is very sweet. It's
That's
okay.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah. She just wanted to confirm with me because she was like, well, we spend a lot of money on these classes. And she just like wanted to make sure it was okay with me that it didn't go. And I'm like, dude, if you want to like hang out with your mom, I'm okay with that. It's all right.
You're like
sweet.
Mama's boy.
I know, right?
I'm
No,
just
we were out of town all week last week. We were in Colorado, which is why I wasn't on the podcast. So, but yeah, it's all good. It's all good. I had him all day Sunday. So
yeah, I thought about
Pokemon
phoning you
tournament.
into the podcast at one point, but I was like, we were having good conversation.
Yeah.
So.
Also, I'd literally not do that.
Yeah.
But
I would have just sent you the restream
offer.
link, and you could have done it on your phone. It would have been
Yeah. Well, I mean, was it Monday afternoon y'all recorded?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was packing to leave,
Oh, right.
so I couldn't have done that, nor would I have. I
Right.
shouldn't say I couldn't have. I probably could have. I just wouldn't.
Right.
No offense. Also, some offense. I love our listeners, all 3 of you, but
We have more listeners than that, and we've actually had
know.
some new listeners recently.
have we
so
now? So we're up to like 8.
Welcome to the show.
Welcome to the show. We're gonna hit double digits soon. It's gonna be dope.
Dude, we hit double digits a long time ago.
I know. I like to downplay how successful our podcast, and it's basically like Joe Rogan and then us. So
Right.
It's kind of dope.
Yeah, like 1 billion listeners a week. That's how it goes for us.
Conan keeps trying to get us to join Team Coco over there,
Right.
which is cool. But
Nobody will sponsor it because they don't like you.
That's correct. That's correct. I rant about too many political things on Twitter. So
No.
don't follow me on Twitter.
No. Yeah. So anyway, we played in a Pokemon tournament this weekend. We actually just got done doing a Pokemon Twitch stream, which we're gonna try to do more of, where we just hang and like chat about stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a lot of fun because it's like I feel like watching people play Pokemon sometimes it's kind of boring because I don't think they're necessarily like explaining a lot, and like I know we were kind of like trying to like show our cards to the camera and like kind of explain a little bit about more what we're doing so that people who might not be like hard into it get it, like kind of get a little bit more. And like I was trying to explain like the strategy of like what I was doing and what I was thinking and why I was doing certain things and where like I messed up. Like in the one match I didn't play my ball card to pull my quick ball. I didn't play on that first turn, which I should have, so I could put my Clefairy down and then Evo my Clefable on the next round. It wound up not really mattering, but all the same.
Yeah.
So, it was fun.
Yeah, it wasn't very fun for me.
No,
I got scorched.
You got lit up pretty good, but
I got psyched.
Look, I've been tinkering with my
psychic
deck like for a week. So
yeah, and you built me this deck, this lightning deck that I was using, and
in about a half hour.
Yeah, no, but it's not a bad deck. It's just flawed. It's just majorly flawed.
Yes,
but we played in the tournament this weekend, and so how I'm sure people who play Pokemon know how it works, but
the pre-release tournament specifically.
Pre-release tournaments, how they work is they give you a pre-release box that has 4 booster packs in it, and then a pack of cards, and then they give you as many energies as you want to build this deck.
And
but
that pack of cards, really quickly too, is are an evolution line.
Yeah.
So like for us, we got like the fire evolution and the water evolution line for the set. But anyway, sorry.
Right. So you take it, and everybody picks their boxes randomly, and they all have different stuff in them. Mm-hmm. And so you take it, and then you have 30 minutes. It was 35 minutes.
35, yeah.
Yeah. To build a 40 card deck.
Mm-hmm.
For pre-release tournaments, it's 40 cards instead of 60. I know how the game works usually. It's usually 60 cards.
Yeah.
And so then you have to assemble this deck really quick with what you have, and then you launch into a Swiss tournament, which is 5 rounds, 2 out of 3 per round, and then at the end of it, they total up all the wins, and then the tiebreakers depend on like if you swept somebody, meaning you beat them 2-0, or if you went 1-2 or 2-1 or whatnot, that kind of like affects your overall score. And then they total up.
They tally up the actual like game win, or like each specific game you played versus the matches.
Right.
The percentiles that way.
Right. So I had never played in a Pokemon tournament before.
Yeah, me neither.
Neither had Aaron. You've played in card tournaments though.
I played in Yu-Gi-Oh tournaments. Yeah. Yes, and like demolished.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you've had the confidence to kind of go in there and be like, I can play, I can kick it. You know?
Yeah, I felt like I was going in. I was like not mega confident that I was gonna do like amazing or anything like I wasn't thinking like, oh yeah, I can win this thing like on my first go kind of deal. Because I remember my first Yu-Gi-Oh tournament actually like just not even knowing the rules or and not knowing anything really, and like playing against like a 10-year-old kid and losing, and I was like, I don't know, 14 or 15.
Yeah.
And so it was like I remember those kinds of things being kind of rough. But I felt pretty confident as far as like my ability to build a deck and kind of know a little bit about like what needed to be done to get a couple wins at least. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So for me, I was totally green to the experience. Like I'd played probably a handful of 10 games like live with real cards total. But
me too, actually.
Yeah, I mean, so like but like I'd never played really any other card games before besides like poker obviously or something like that. But
no TCGs.
So I was really green to the experience, and like I sat down with this guy. I got paired up with the guy the first round, and he was one of the best guys who play at the shop on a regular basis. He didn't do very well actually in the tournament, but I sat down with him, and I was like starting to play it. And I was kind of nervous. I have a nervous disposition anyway, but like I was kind of nervous, and then he was like, dude, you gotta like say every move, you gotta like do that, you gotta make sure you're calling it out, and and like I made a flub, and I was like, oh snap, I forgot to do this or attach energy or something. He was like, yeah, you're done, like you're moving on, you know. So it was really hardcore in tournament rules, which is great. I'm totally for, but it was just like such a new experience to me than just sitting around drinking a few beers playing some Pokemon in my house, you know.
Oh, absolutely, dude. And that was my thing too, like because I haven't played in a tournament in like 15, 17 years. Like it's been a really long time since I've done any kind of tournament.
Right.
So yeah, it was weird because like I played an energy on like a Pokemon, and I was like, oh, I kind of wanted to play it on a different one actually. And I was like, hey, do you mind if I move it, or like do I just have to leave it there? And he's like, yeah, you can leave it there. It's okay.
Yeah.
Like, and he was like kind of like really nicely like trying to tell me like, no, dude, that what's done is done. And I was like, all right. And so from like that moment forward, I was just like, be really careful with every single thing you do, because what is done is done.
Yeah. And we did our Twitch stream a while ago, and I had a big flub. I would have won the match pretty close to winning the match.
I don't know if you
I would have knocked one of your strongest out.
You would have knocked a Pokemon out.
And if I would have been able to attack the next round,
your
next Pokemon would have been knocked out too. So,
not necessarily, because I had my...
You had the evolution in
I
your
had
hand.
the Evo in my hand,
okay. Yes, but it would have gotten
a
lot down because it was $120 or 120 attack. on that.
It was
from
120
that
health, and you would have been able to do 90 damage to it, but I had the coin flip to prevent damage too.
Right.
So
it was dicey. I would have been more in the game.
You would have had a much better shot at being in the game. Yeah, that is the truth. Yes.
Yeah. So anyway, and it just ended up where I literally ended up having nothing else and lost. But
yeah,
you can watch the replay.
You also forgot to draw too, which.
Oh, I did.
You played like 2 cards and you're like, I'm gonna draw because I forgot.
Yeah. So anyway,
but usually I'm a bro about that kind of stuff.
The tournament was pretty hardcore though, and for just walking in off the street, out of 20 players, you did 7th and I did 8th.
Yeah, so solid. I thought
we got a couple packs as consolation prize.
Yeah,
but it was cool. It was a legit Pokemon tournament. It was registered by the company. Like all the pre-release was legit, and it was a ton of fun. It was really a new experience, and we're gonna go back.
Yeah.
So actually, the 3 of us are gonna try to go back in August for the Evolving Skies pre-release tournament. So
yeah, I'd like to go just do some regular 60 card tournaments as well.
Yeah,
or even just go down there and play. And
just hang out
and play. Yeah, see what people are up to.
Yeah, that's the cool thing is like
that'd be fun.
We live in such a small town, but we have a really cool comic shop in town that are like event oriented and like really want to do stuff. It's not just like, hey, come give us your money for our comics.
Yeah,
they're really building a good business model down there.
Yeah, because it's like a comic book shop, but it's also more of like they do a lot of games, a lot of gaming. They've got people that they have like a couple D&D groups. Most people play Magic down there, MTG. I don't think there's really anybody that plays Yu-Gi-Oh. But I know there's a ton of people that play MTG, a ton of people that play Pokemon, and they've got a million board games, and they've got a bunch of video game stations and stuff. So it's like, for being in a really small town in the middle of nowhere, and to go into this place and it be like, between the main shop and then like the game room, like, I don't know, 1,800 square foot place or so. It's like huge, and there's tons to do. It's like nerd paradise. It's amazing.
They've built a cool community there, and they're like,
it's an oasis in the desert.
Totally down to get like whatever we need. Like, I'm reading this comic, which I'll talk a little bit more about towards the end of the podcast. It's going to be my recommendation, but I'm reading this comic called Radiant Black right now, and it's an independent. It's an independent comic, and it's super good. But like, it's not something everybody would just order, but they had it unordered. I didn't even have to ask them. They already had it in the shop, and I was like, oh, put this on my pull. Yeah. This is I really like this comic, and they're getting all my covers and all that kind of stuff. So they're like really on top of it, and they've built a good community. Sometimes in small towns, like, things like that can kind of fade and not really, but I think we live in such a nerd culture now that like Revenge of the Nerds have taken over, and so like, if you find your niche, you can really do well if you expand on that. So,
absolutely. Well, and it's like, the one guy that you had played that was like, one of the best guys at the shop, Cam, that you had played earlier, he lives in Amarillo, like an hour from us.
People were driving out,
and he has to they like, there's like him and a couple other people I think that drove up here to play in the tournament because there wasn't anybody in Amarillo playing. Amarillo's like 5 or 10 times the size of our town, so it's pretty bonkers.
And it's funny because like, they have a couple comic shops over there, but they're all about how can we make money off of everybody who walks. It's all about the big business aspect of it, instead of like building such a small like, they really built this thing from the ground up. They didn't have much when they started, and they've just expanded over COVID, even through COVID times and all that kind of stuff. They've always had the stuff we need there, and they've really like put the effort into like building a cool shop and a cool community there.
Well, absolutely. So. Yeah. Mushy Head Comics.
Yeah.
Check them out. I know they have a little TCG trader on tcgtrader.com. Is that the website? tcgtrader.com? Yeah, they have a little shop there where they sell their like individual cards.
Oh, that's cool.
But yeah, I mean, it's great. I love them because like, they're so like community focused to the point where like they've got card packs and like booster packs for everything in stock, and they're not charging like $12 a pack like other places are. Like, they'll be like, okay, they're $4.50 a pack, and you can have 5 a day to everybody that comes in. So they're not like just like blasting them out of the shop at exorbitant prices just to like appeal to scalpers and just to like make a quick buck or whatever, which is total BS, and I hate that kind of stuff. So they do a really solid job of just trying to keep the community positive. It's funny because when I was talking to the owner the other day, because they live above the shop, I was like, it's like Bob's Burgers, but with nerd stuff. Like they're just like so passionate and so cool to everybody that comes in there that we're like spieling on this comic book shop for half the podcast. But anyways, terrific place.
Yeah. Also, they were really nice to our kids too. Our kids came and hung out the entire
house,
time.
Bro.
Had a great time. I brought my laptop so the kids could play some Fortnite on GeForce Now.
Yeah.
Just streaming from my laptop and stuff. So it was a good time. It was really cool. Definitely going back. They had 20 seats for this tournament, and they've secured 30 seats for the next tournament. So they're growing.
They sold out this one, which is awesome.
Yep.
And then hopefully they'll have even more for the next.
And that's what you got to do in comics shops these days. You got to build a community, not just like you won't make it.
No, absolutely.
You'll struggle to make it if you're just trying to like do the retail thing.
Yeah,
it's like
hobby shops in general, because it's too easy. It's way too easy to go online and buy stuff.
Yep.
And so if you're not willing to, put any kind of effort into building a community and just being reasonable with the people that come into your shop, then you're gonna fail.
Yeah, and also,
or you're gonna be super poor for the rest of your life.
Yeah, they sell online too. So if you're listening and you want to get some stuff from them, you can go to their website, mushyheadcomics.com, and they have a whole online store as well. So anyway, it's nice to support the small businesses, but
absolutely support those guys 110%.
Yep, for sure. So anyway, we'll kind of move on from that, but overall the tournament was fun, and we didn't totally, or I especially didn't just bomb out. I went 3-2 in the tournament out of all the rounds. So I went 5 rounds and I won 3 and lost 2. And Aaron did the same.
I just had a little better win ratio.
Yeah, win ratio is better. I was always went to game 3 in every round I went through. So I didn't just sweep anybody at all.
I had one game 3. I'll tell you all about this really quick because it was the best thing ever. So, I get there and there's this one fella there, and he was the guy that won the last tournament, and everybody's like, holy crap, this dude's super good. He doesn't play a lot of Pokemon. He does mostly like MTG and stuff like that, but the guy's just like a strategic mastermind. And he didn't even have very good pulls for the tournament. He didn't have any V cards or anything like that, but he had a solidly strategized deck that he had put together that he was playing with. And of course, I get him first.
Right.
Go figure.
And he put a bounty on himself too.
Well, no, the shop owner did that. They put a $30 card out as the bounty.
No, that was his card.
He
was giving that away.
Oh, okay.
I didn't bounty on him. He's like, if you can beat me, you'll get this card.
I didn't realize. I thought it was a shop owner that did that.
No. Yeah.
But yeah. So we're playing, and I beat him the first round, which I was happy about. And then he beat me the second round because I just had like garbage pulls. And then the third round literally came down to he had one of the new Doug Trios out of Chili Rain, which is 60 times damage cards. So the 60x is flip 3 coins for each heads. It does 60 damage to your opponent's Pokemon. And I had a card out. I don't remember specifically what Pokemon I had out. All I remember is that he flipped 2 heads, and if he had flipped a third heads, I would have lost.
Yeah.
But since he flipped a third tails, I won because I would have just attacked him and won the next round.
Yeah.
It was the most like exhilarating thing to have the entire first round of the tournament come down to one coin flip.
Yeah.
And there were like people like sitting there like watching us play that were like, oh my god, just freaking out on that coin flip. And that was a super, super good game, and felt really nervous going into that one. Didn't feel a whole lot more confident after winning, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because he had such like crummy pulls. But all the same though, that was super fun, and that's the type of stuff I love as far as like strategy games and any kind of game that can just come down to the wire. Football too, everything.
Anything. Yeah, it was cool. It was fun. It was a good time. It was cool. You got that $30 card bounty.
That was fun.
It was cool. Yeah. Anyway, so it was fun, and we will report on the next Evolving Skies that's coming out in August.
Yes.
The pre-release tournament's August 22nd for that. So we're going to go.
We'll report on any other tournaments we play in between now and then as well.
Right, and Weston's coming up for that. So we're all going to play in that together, which is going to be cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
So anyway, I just wanted to move on here. We don't have too much time left, but
we don't? No, biscuit.
Yeah, I got to leave in 20 minutes. So.
Oh man, you got to leave? All right.
Yeah.
See you later.
Kid's got jujitsu.
I'll just sit here and talk.
That's fine. Yeah. We just want to talk about E3 takeaways for a minute. So E3 is officially kind of over now. It's Tuesday, so there's not much going on tonight, I believe. It's just kind of like gameplay demos and stuff. So, what did you find from E3 that was? Me and Weston had a long conversation about how lame E3 is now, and it literally there was a couple cool things, but it literally lived up to that standard 100%.
Yeah, it's funny because I was thinking that the same thing. Listening to because I listened to last week's episode.
That's nice of you.
And I know I listen to every episode, and I like to hear myself talk.
Right.
But I do echo Weston's sentiment when he was just like E3 has just kind of been like garbage for like the last like 3 or 4 years or whatever.
For sure.
And it's like they've gotten to the point where they're like showing movie trailers at E3.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, well this is over. Like I don't even care anymore.
I actually want to see that movie, but I've seen it like the trailer a bunch of times on TV and just whatever, you know.
Yeah, because it's the movie's been done. That Ryan Reynolds one. Yeah, the movie's been done for a year.
Yeah,
like it was gonna come out, and then the pandemic happened, and then they pulled the Black Widow, and we're like, oh, never mind.
We'll wait.
Yeah, we'll wait. So it's been done, and I saw trailers for that in the movie theater.
Yeah,
back when we could go to the theater before the pandemic. So
honestly,
it's like whatever.
It looks like a decent movie, but it's something they could have just put out on on HBO Max.
Yeah, they could have audited it and made the same amount of money. Yeah, they're not gonna. It's a comedy. It's gonna make maybe 15, 25 million at the movie theater, and
it's not for everybody. It's not even for every gamer. You know, like it's not. It's just like some of the people that think Ryan Reynolds is funny and like gaming.
Right.
You know, I don't think that. Like my parents are really jazzed to go see that movie, you know, like or anybody in general. My wife, she's like, I guess I'll go see that with you. Like, I'm like, I kind of want to see it just because I'm a gamer and I think the idea is funny. But she's like, yeah, I really don't care about that other than Ryan Reynolds is a sexy man beast.
Exactly.
So.
I feel Katie's probably going to be the same way.
Right. Exactly. So.
She's like Ryan Reynolds, handsome. I'm in.
Let's do this thing. I think some of the highlights from the weekend were. Well, I'm not an Xbox owner, and that was probably the downfall. Was they announced Starfield, and they actually showed a trailer, but Bethesda did. But they also announced since Microsoft owns Bethesda now, it's going to be an Xbox exclusive, which is a bummer. But I might actually get an Xbox this time around for that and Halo, the new Halo, because that looks sick too.
I'm not going to do that.
Then there was a Guardians of the Galaxy game coming out that Square is doing, which seems interesting.
Yeah, that'd be. I'm interested to see how that turns out. That is one that I will not buy at launch.
No,
because
it'll be $20 in a couple months.
It will be. Well, and I was gonna say just because of the kind of I don't want to say it was like a giant flub, but of the rather grandiose flub that was the Avengers game.
Yeah.
Even though we enjoyed it,
the
whole launch process and everything has just been kind of wonky, I guess. I'll say
it was rough. It wasn't cyberpunk rough, but it was definitely rough.
Yeah, it definitely wasn't, taking it off of the store and issuing millions of dollars of refunds rough, but it was still pretty rough.
Yeah, but they did announce the Black Panther expansion coming to that game, and that does look pretty cool.
Yeah,
so I'm hoping because that's going to be their first kind of revamp to the game, like first like uptick to it. So
yeah,
I think the game is getting better as time goes on.
It is,
but I just hope people don't lose interest and give up on it. You know?
Yeah. Well, it's tough because that's like gaming nowadays.
Yeah.
Like they just launched an update a few weeks ago, I think it might have been, that they like enhanced the graphics a little bit, enhanced the FPS, and then were able to enhance the load times.
Yeah.
And like me and my son were playing it the other day, and it like going from the Quinjet into the mission was actually pretty quick. Like you used to sit and wait forever.
Yeah.
And it was surprisingly fast. So I was happy about that.
Yeah.
I didn't really notice any kind of difference in the graphics or stuff, but we were playing on Stadia, so
I think I need to just switch and get it when it's really cheap on PS5.
Yeah,
like because it goes on sale. It's $40 right now, but you can get it for probably be able to get it for 20 by the fall time. So
I'd get it for PS5 if it had a PS5 upgrade
it
specifically.
Does.
Oh, it does.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that's what I was saying.
Okay.
Like I want to get that because of the PS5 upgrade. Apparently done to it.
Yeah, because if like the load times were nigh instant on that game, that would be. It's like Madden. It's the same thing. It's like I have Madden on Stadia because I don't want to wait every single time, every single day for the new update for the new roster, because it takes. I mean, on like when we had it on PS4, you'd sit there for a half hour until you could actually play the game.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous. So, and on Madden, on Stadia, I actually played Madden the other day a little bit.
Oh, you did?
On
nice.
Stadia, yeah.
We need to play. We need to stream that.
Yeah, that'd be fun. But it was like, I mean, just like loading the game and start playing it. It's nice. So.
Oh yeah, that's super cool about it. And but yeah, definitely really enjoying our PS5s. And
100%. Yeah.
I do want to get Avengers on PlayStation because also like in early next year they're going to release the PlayStation exclusive Spider-Man content to the Avengers game.
Oh yeah, that's
which
true.
That'll bring a lot of people in, I feel like, just because if you're not Avengers fans, you're probably a Spider-Man fan at some point in time, So
yeah, absolutely. And if you want to just try out Avengers too, I don't know how we got off on an Avengers rant, but if you want to try Avengers as well, it is on PS Now. So
until the end of the month.
Yeah, so I mean, like for $15, you could just play it for a few weeks and see if you like it, and then buy it.
Buy it for $15 in a couple months.
Probably, yeah.
No.
Yeah, the only thing I really was fairly excited about from E3 was they put the Elden Ring's release date, cool. January 21st, upcoming 2022. So I'm really excited about that. If you're listening and you're not familiar, it's From Software, which did like Dark Souls and Bloodborne and everything, but they're making an open world third person RPG, Elden's what is it? Elden Ring. Sorry, I kept trying to say Elden Scrolls, and I'm like, no, that's not correct. Going out of my mind over here, but Elden Ring. But it just looks super fun. Yeah, and I'm really excited to see what kind of open world they come up with.
Yeah.
And then the other thing was the trailer, or not the trailer, the demo that Square put out for Final Fantasy Origins, the something of Paradise.
Yeah,
which it's broken right now on PS5. The download's broken right now, but I still really want to play it.
Yeah.
Only for the fact that I play like every Final Fantasy game, and it's like more of like a Dark Souls style Final Fantasy game, being like a little bit more adult, a little bit more hardcore, and just a kind of a new direction for the series. So I think that might be something that'll be interesting to look forward to.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, definitely. I think probably the one, like, Nintendo had a bunch of things they showed off, but it was a bunch of things that I really didn't care about.
Yeah.
I was kind of bummed we didn't get anything about like a Mario Kart 9 or something. I think it's due for like another game because they haven't had an official Switch one. They just did the deluxe when that was on Wii U.
Oh, Mario Kart 8?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't realize that was
they just made it deluxe for Switch, which is just the same game with all the DLC.
I got you.
Basically. So
I got you.
I really hope that we get a Mario Kart 9 at some point, but I was kind of bummed they didn't say anything about that. Yeah. There's a Tekken character coming to Super Smash Brothers, which that trailer was really cool, but like I don't care.
No.
I don't care.
I literally bought Smash, played it for a day, and then I haven't played it since.
Yeah. Well, it's the trailer was cool because it's like the guy. It starts with some guy walking off of towards an end of a cliff holding Ganondorf. And he literally throws Ganondorf off the cliff because he beat the crap out of him.
Nice.
And so and then it shows it's the Tekken guy and all this stuff. So
yeah.
But anyway, that was a cool trailer, but I don't care about the character and will not purchase it.
No, that's and that's my thing with Smash in general. It's just like every character is like $7 for each. I mean, and there's like 90 characters at this point. I'm like, I'm not going to spend another $150 just to buy them all.
Yeah,
I don't know, whatever.
I think you can get like the packs for like they'll have discounts and stuff, but they're like $20 for 5 characters.
Still don't care.
Yeah. So
like as a whole other game, for just
right.
for a few characters. Like, I don't care that much.
I think we'll care more when our boys get a little older and like want to play with us. I think that'd be cool. But,
yeah, maybe.
But yeah, anyway, I think my biggest letdown was there was no mention of PSVR 2. And I talked about that on the podcast
really
last week.
Yeah.
And I was like, sure. I'm like, yeah, they're going to bring something to E3 about that. Cause I'm like, I'm sure it's coming out towards the end of the year, but
I feel like Sony's having their own kind of press conference-y thing though, aren't they?
Are they going to do it?
I think so.
Yeah, I'm sure they're just going to announce it on their own channel.
Yeah.
It's like we were talking about last week. It's like every company just wants to promote their own stuff.
Correct.
It's to these companies, it's probably not much, but like to have a showcase at E3, it's pretty expensive.
Yeah.
So like when I could just go to my YouTube for nothing,
exactly,
have my team put together a video, and throw it on the internet. Really, these E3 showcases are majorly for like indie developers who are trying to make it in the game. At this point.
And the thing with E3 is like it's not even like they're like actually the indie. I can't remember the name of it, but the indie game developer. What am I trying to say? Expo was the week before E3. It's like it's not even E3 is just not useful anymore.
Yeah.
It's not 1995 where that's the only place you can get your information.
Or even in the early 2000s, when we were like 12, 13 years old, that was like the rage.
Exactly.
Like, oh, I can't wait. I want to go to E3 one day. It's like, oh yeah, the one day that we could actually go, it's like nothing now.
Yeah.
So it's like not as exciting anymore.
No, absolutely. I mean, what are you going to go for like the cosplay?
Yeah.
And like demoing new games, but most of the games aren't particularly exciting. Yeah. It's things that you've probably already heard about.
Yeah.
So it's like you're basically paying a few $100s just for the ticket and not including, any airfare or whatever, just to go and get some swag and to play some demos. That's about it.
Yeah, I think the other thing too that Nintendo announced was Metroid. They're doing like a mainline Metroid game, so it's not a Prime. It's not Metroid Prime 4.
Right.
It's like actually the first mainline game in 20 years.
Which that
looks pretty cool.
Yeah, I love Metroid and I love Metroidvania style games anyways.
Yeah.
So to have one, I'm totally down for it.
Yeah, and we played Metroid on the podcast when we were doing the retro video game stuff. And
yes.
Like, so this is literally a continuation of that mainline story. So that's cool.
Yeah, that'll be super fun.
But other than that, nothing too impressive from E3.
Yeah. Well, in that part, I don't even think the Nintendo stuff today was part of E3, was it? Technically?
Yeah, it technically was.
Okay.
Yeah, it was on their schedule, the Nintendo. But still, even Nintendo, it was a Nintendo. It's just like a Nintendo Direct. It was done around the time of E3.
Right.
That E3 is like, let's just put that on the schedule. That's what it felt like. You know? Just to like pump what we're doing here.
That's kind of how it felt like basically everything was.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like a bunch of random people hosting a bunch of random Zoom meetings, talking to like one neckbeard and one, dude that barely speaks English from their company. And it's just like having an awkward conversation about the crappy game that's coming out in 3 years.
Yeah.
Like that was the whole thing. And then it was that. And then like, Gearbox did a pretty fun thing with like the CEO of Gearbox going through on the set of the Borderlands movie.
Yeah.
That was kind of fun.
That's cool.
And like I said, the Ryan Reynolds movie coming out, that was kind of fun, but it's I think kind of depressing when the nifty things coming out of the E3
was not gaming.
It's just some films coming out.
Yeah.
It's just like, all right, never mind.
Yeah. I want to see those movies and I want to see their trailers, but I don't want to see them during the prime gaming conference of the year,
100%.
But also with the Summer Game Fest thing, it's like new game news and everything's happening like all summer long. So, Jeff Keighley, he runs the whole Summer Game Fest thing, and he's been really active on his Twitter and stuff. So if you're looking for new game news, it'll be happening. It'll be happening. So, but yeah, it was kind of lackluster, kind of what we expected almost. A couple cool things. The Guardians of the Galaxy game, it looks fun, but like you said, I probably won't get it at launch,
No.
So anyway, but yeah, I think that's pretty much, we're kind of running out of time for the show today. I know we wanted to talk, if you want to give us like a 5-minute how you feeling about Final Fantasy VII Intergrade.
Yeah, we spent 15 minutes talking about our comic book shop, but I'll go.
Yeah, right? Exactly. No, we'll talk about this more next week.
Yeah, we will.
When
we'll
Weston's
probably
on
be
the
done
pod
with
too.
it at that point too, I think.
Yeah, you'll probably be finished with it.
I've got.
I don't know if I will be, but
well, you're further ahead than I am. But...
yeah, I'm at like there's 18 chapters, and I'm like at chapter 12.
Okay.
13,
yeah, I think I just got to chapter 8 last night. I'm pretty sure, right when you and Aerith are heading for Sector 7.
Right.
So,
spoilers, bro.
Oh my God, spoilers for a 26-year-old game,
right?
Or 24-year-old game.
Story, not game. Story. It's a different game.
That's very true. It is actually
it's a very
incredibly different game, and honestly, the story is not really different. It's just that they've kind of interlaced a lot more what's the word I'm looking for, just a lot more explanations to things
that they couldn't do with like
they kind of expedited the story. right yeah, they're crossing their T's and dotting their I's instead of kind of like leaving it to where you have to play it 3 times to understand what happened.
Yeah, and then there's a lot of the extra stuff like Jessie. She actually has a personality in the game.
Yeah,
and like the whole...
I love Jessie so much.
I know.
I would wife her so hard. Oh my goodness, I would if I like it, and I would put a ring on it. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah, it was that whole mission was so much fun.
Yeah,
like the whole story part of that.
Sorry, I couldn't hear what you said.
Siri thinks we're talking about her.
Yeah, she's like,
first of all, I'm your only virtual girlfriend. Okay, Jessie sucks and can go to hell.
She was butting in.
Yeah,
on her.
Like, I'm sorry, I didn't hear that. You're talking about Jessie? No, I am the only one for you. My name is Siri. Get it right. All right. Anyway.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm glad you're digging the game. And...
yeah, I love it. It's super fun. The voice acting is kind of like, bad sometimes.
Cloud is not very good. That guy
really?
I don't really. I like the voice, but I don't like the way he's
like, very dry. It's dry. That's the word I'm looking for.
He doesn't deliver it well.
Yes.
It's very yes.
It's very flat.
Okay, I am Cloud.
Yeah.
Why would you want to do it that way?
Yeah.
It's like so dumb.
I didn't like Barrett at first.
Yeah.
I kind of felt like Barrett was like a white person doing an impression of an angry black person is how I felt like Barrett sounded, which is kind of sad because the guy that actually voices him is like a large black dude.
Yeah.
So it just sounded like janky.
Yeah.
But a little bit deeper into the game, it starts to his personality starts to come through a little bit more, and like his softer side comes through a little bit more, and he shows up and it delivers a lot better than it does in like the first like 4 chapters maybe.
Yeah. The guy who does Cloud, he's on this show called All American. Mm-hmm. Like he's like this high school football player type show, and I actually like that show. But it's funny, when the game originally came out last year on PS4 and I got it, I was also watching that show at the same time. Mm-hmm. And so I was like, that voice is so familiar. And I was like, oh my gosh, it's the same dude.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm like, he is the worst actor on that show too.
Oh yeah.
Like literally the worst actor on that show. And so I'm like kind of bummed about the Cloud voice, but
I'll tell you, the best voices, if I can interject really quickly, are Biggs and Wedge, 110%.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And the guy that
Marlene.
does, Marlene,
and
Marlene, and the guy that does, I think it's Wedge.
Yeah.
The big dude, right?
Yeah,
Wedge is the fat guy. Yeah, he's one of the actors on Breaking Bad too.
Oh really?
Yeah,
oh,
he's
nice.
like actually like the most well-known actor. I can't remember his name, but he's like the most well-known actor in the whole cast of the Final Fantasy VII lineup. Which I'm a little bit disappointed that they didn't put like a few more dollars to getting some bigger names,
or just use the old cast they had. Like the guy who did Cloud for Kingdom Hearts and the Advent Children movies, he was fine. He 100%. Did a great job.
Yeah, 100%.
But yeah, I think that's the only gripe I have with it. But overall, I mean, it's just an amazingly beautiful game. They're gonna have to get new actors for the sequel because it's gonna take it like 30 years to come out, and they're gonna age out of it anyway. So
the next podcast we put out will be about the sequel.
Yeah, 30 years from now.
Yeah.
No, but hopefully it doesn't take that long.
No.
That's another thing. Like, I was like, yeah, we're not gonna get any Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 2 news at E3. Nope, of course not.
Even like a 40-second trailer.
Nope.
It's like Breath of the Wild too.
Yeah.
That trailer. It's like Like, this is confusing. It tells me nothing about the story, and it just says 2022. It's like, great. I guess we'll see you next year sometime.
Yeah, exactly.
To figure out what in the world's going on.
Right.
Anyway.
Sad.
But
anyway, well, we'll
Trump
talk
impression.
more about Final Fantasy VII Remake when we've beat
all
of it. Probably you'll have it done by next week. I don't know if I will or not.
I hope I do, yeah.
Still, I do my Fortnite dailies every night, and then if I'm like not tired after that, I usually turn on Final Fantasy VII and play that, but we'll see.
Basically, since games actually started coming out for the PS5, I stopped playing Fortnite with Mason.
I know.
Some offense. No, I'm just kidding. I have a ton of fun playing Fortnite, and I really want to play the new season. I gotta beat this.
Yeah,
so I had to beat Last of Us 2. That was one of the best games I've ever played with actual actors that are incredible. Ashley Johnson is just one of my favorite people and an amazing actress, and Laura Bailey is like my celebrity crush and also amazing person and amazing actress, and just a fantastic job with Abby in that game. So anyways, so
you did Last of Us 2, Control.
Last of Us 2, Control Ultimate.
And now you're moving on to Final Fantasy.
And Final Fantasy, which Control Ultimate, honestly, was good.
Yeah.
It just wasn't... The only real difference, because I played it on Luna, the only real difference was the ray tracing, which freaked me out a lot of times, because you're in like a lot of rooms that have a lot of glass.
Yeah,
this is like an office building basically.
Yeah,
and you're in all these, and like you're just like looking around, and all of a sudden you see like 17 reflections of yourself, and it's just startling.
Yeah,
in a game that's kind of like haunting to a certain extent. So, it was a little freaky from that point of view, but otherwise it wasn't anything like outlandish. I just got it because it was $20 and it had the DLC. So, but I loved it. It's an amazing game. If you haven't played Control before and you have a PlayStation Plus account, it's $20 on PS Plus. So go get it.
Cool. All right. Well, do you want to give like a quick recommendations in like under 2 minutes?
Quick recce? Like, dude, go find a hobby shop nearby and play some Pokemon.
Nice.
That's super. I've just been like getting so into it. It's so much more fun than I remember it being.
Yeah,
it's been awesome,
fun. And especially now that we have money as adults that we can.
Yeah, and honestly, like if you've ever been the type of person that wants to play a trading card game, but feels like it's expensive to get into it, Pokemon's not.
No,
you can build a 60 card deck by buying cards on TCG Player for like a tournament level professional deck for like $100.
Yeah.
Now you can spend a whole lot less and still have something decent.
You put together your Psychic, your first iteration of that, with a pre-made deck that's $10, and then you bought like what, 6 booster packs?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, and I mean, like, I stole some of yours, and I mean, like, I don't know, like if I sold like each individual card out of that deck on TCG Player, it'd be like $40 maybe.
Yeah.
So I mean, you can absolutely do something for very cheap, and it's a lot of fun.
Yeah. My recommendation is this comic book I've been reading. It's by Kyle Higgins, and he wrote all the Power Ranger comics for a while, but he has bridged over and started his own comic. But he is doing it with these guys that do a Power Ranger rewatch podcast. And they've done it for years, and they met him like, hey, we want to do recaps of your comics with Power Rangers as like an extra show. And so he teamed up with these guys, and he's done 2 independent comics with these dudes and some other people involved as well. And but this comic book, Radiant Black, is about a group of heroes born out of like a black hole, the energy of a black hole, and it's just insane. It is just wild, up and down emotions all around. It's initially a 6-part run, but I think they've got renewed for like 12 issues or something. So it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. Check that out if you have the resources and time. Yeah, it's a really fun read.
You gotta let me borrow yours, and I'll read it.
Yeah, I will, for sure. Yeah, it's super fun. Even my son, he like looks at it, like he can't 100% read yet, but he like looks through it. He's like, when are we getting the next Radiant Black?
Nice. So and I still got my Robin Wars that I actually need to sit down and read. It's like 200 pages though.
Oh, dude. Yeah, I know. And then if you are into the Power Ranger or if you want to get into the Power Ranger comics, Humble Bundle has every single issue they've released up to like their new series issue 4, for $25 like $25 on Humble Bundle.
The Power Ranger comics are good, too.
Yeah, and they're super good.
Yeah, so. Like I don't watch the show anymore because I'm not, it's too campy and I just, it's lame for me, honestly. I know you love it. For me, I just can't do it, but the comics are terrific.
Yeah, they're aimed at the adult fan base. The show is still kids, but apparently they're doing something that's going to be more aimed towards
is it Netflix
our age.
Making a Power Rangers show or
something? So today, actually, Tuesday, Power Rangers Dino Fury, the first 11 episodes of the first season dropped. And they'd been airing it on Nickelodeon, but they aired it up to episode 9 or up to episode 8. And then so they dropped on Netflix 9 through 11, which are brand new episodes.
Oh,
so
cool. Okay.
The first part of the first season. So.
Yeah. I just meant like an adult.
Yeah, they're doing
Netflix
some kind
show,
of something. Yeah, they've got Jonathan Entwistle, who did a Netflix show that's going to direct all like this new Power Rangers universe.
That's dope.
Yeah, so it's going to be interesting. That's kind of the things I want to recommend this week, but I have to go. So
me too.
Until next time,
we'll see you next time.